It's getting thick here on Rocky Top. Look at this. Also, if you're a reseller or you're thinking about getting into the reselling business, let me tell you, I'm going to share with you what I think, as a reseller, your biggest enemy. Stick around. We'll be right back. Boom. Hey guys, welcome back to Rocky Top. Welcome back into the channel. My name is Ben, the Rocky Top Picker. And man, is it hot today. About 89 out here, and I've got the Goldilocks hair thing going on because I do have a few viewers that like to make off-channel comments about my shirts or my hair or whatever, but it is what it is, right? So in the opening of this video, you saw this big pile of stuff behind me. This right here is just a small bit of evidence of what it means to be in yard sale season. Mask this up. All these things you see here in the tubs, I obtained in a private pick, and there's about 12 tubs full of everything from A to Z in this thing. Will I get to it? Yeah, but it's probably going to be a while. So this, ladies and gentlemen, when you have stuff sitting around for any length of time, that is called your death pile. Now, if you're a seasoned reseller, this information in the videos that I'm doing is not any news to you. I'm really directing this towards the folks that are new to the business or that are exploring the options of getting into the reselling business. So anyway, during yard sale season, we resellers have to act like a bunch of squirrels, and what we do is we go out and hit all these yard sales, garage sales, estate sales. Why? Because I said in my previous videos, that's the cheapest place to source your items, and we're just like a bunch of squirrels stashing away our nuts for the winter time. I don't know if that was an appropriate saying. We squirrel away our nuts for the winter. Well, too late. I'm not going to edit that. So anyway, we're a bunch of squirrels. So yeah, so you know it's yard sale season when you start filling up your spaces. And speaking of spaces, you know, I've never really done a video where I just casually talk to you guys that are watching. And first of all, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, it's absolutely free. Just go up and hit the subscribe button, and then you'll hit that little notification bell. And what that'll do is that'll remind you when a new video drops. You'll get notified for it. And so again, I would ask that you do that for me. That would be awesome. I want to thank all the folks that have subscribed to the channel so far. We are growing. I'm just want to speed it up, and I do that by releasing more and more content as the weeks and months go by. But I did want to start off today's video. Number one, the subject of the video we're going to get into in just a few minutes is what reselling's biggest enemy is, in my opinion. There's a lot of positives, there's a lot of negatives to the business, but I think for me, I'm going to identify in this video the root problem. But before we get into that, I had a viewer submit some comments, and I want to address these questions that was submitted, and it was in the video that I put out several weeks ago. Are you new to reselling? Do this now. And this is from Abs My Heart, and I hope they don't mind me reading this, but I just think it's very important that this is out here. Of course, you know, you can read it by going to the video and going down into the comment section. It says, I'm a 64 disabled, and I had to give up my career as a nurse. I am desperately needing income and decided about 6 months ago to start selling on eBay. Good for you. I started collecting boxes and packing material, and I have a section of my living room that I've devoted to stockpiling all the things that I want to start listing. I probably have close to 200 items. And I bought a postage type scale that will weigh up to 80 pounds. That's another good thing. I knew how to look up prices of sold items, and I know how to do listings, but unfortunately I do not have home internet. It's hard to imagine, folks, that it's 2023 and there are people across the country who still don't have access to the internet. It's hard to believe, but it's true. So I've been trying to figure out how to use my phone to attach to my computer, but for the life of me, I cannot get it to work. Do you think I would be sorry if I just decided to go to the local library to print labels on something sold? I know this is kind of a pain, but I don't see any other way to do it. How much of a hassle do you feel, just in your opinion, it would for me to do it that way? I know the decision is obviously totally up to me. I just want your opinion. Thank you very much for your help, Joy. Well, first of all, Joy, I replied. I don't know if you've read it, but I want to thank you for telling me a little bit about your story, and thank you for your service to your community as a nurse. That's just a tremendous profession that deserves a lot of honor, especially during the COVID years. So I want to thank you for that. And I replied, but I'll go ahead and tell you again, you know, you can go, on your cell phone service, go to your cell phone service provider, whether it's Verizon or T-Mobile, those are the biggest ones. I don't know what area in the country you live in, but they sell these little hotspot devices that you can purchase, and the only downside to a hotspot is your desktop computer or laptop or whatever it is you're using would have to be Wi-Fi capable of receiving a signal. But you can go purchase one of those hotspots from your cell phone provider, and then it'll pick up the signal from your hotspot to your computer, and then just invest into a label printer, which you can purchase on eBay or like the one I got from Amazon. It was less than $100. Big debate in the reselling community on the best label printer. I don't want to get into that. There's Rollo, and then there's everybody else. Get what works for you. A thermal printer is the best. I've not had any issues out of mine, and I'm not going to get into that debate. But really, going to the library, I wouldn't do that. I would much rather you go to your local post office to purchase your labels. Now, that is a hassle. But if the hotspot thing doesn't work out, I would suggest that you just get everything prepped and ready and take it to your local post office. Did I say hospital earlier? I'm just thinking about you serving as a nurse. But anyway, you want to take it to your local post office where they can run and print the labels for you, obviously, if you can't get internet connection at your home. That's just how I would handle that, but I wish you the best of luck for that. And if you got any more questions, please drop them down in the comments down below. Okay, so we're talking about what I think is reselling's biggest enemy, the root cause, the root of it all, the bottom line, baby. The biggest enemy is yourself. Now, some of you are saying, well, how is that? How can that be? Well, here's the deal. Reselling is not a business for you if you like to procrastinate. Reselling is not a business for you if you don't like getting out and hitting the road every weekend, practically, during yard sale season. If you're not a fan of spending hours in front of your computer or on your phone, whether you list items on your phone or if you use a desktop or laptop or whatever, if you don't like sitting in a chair mundanely going through listing after listing and typing in descriptions and filling out your item specifics and weighing every item and selecting the size shipping box that it needs to go in, if you procrastinate on listing, you're not going to make good money in this business. So when I say what's the root enemy, it's literally ourselves, including me. There's days that I don't feel like listing. This is why I have adopted some procedures that make listing easier. And you can see other videos about this. I'm not going to go into great detail about it. However, if you have questions about any of these things that I'm saying, let me know about it. Then I can specifically do a video on that subject. But when you're listing, I am a big avid fan and use making drafts of your listings. That's where you go in ahead of time and you make up a draft. You put in all your descriptions, your item title, your description, your condition of your item, your weight, your package dimensions. Set it up to take offers. Set a minimum offer if you don't want to get lowballed all the time. Put the lowest dollar you're willing to take. Also promoting items. It's interesting that 98% of my business is rolling off of promoted item sales. The organic listings are way down, and I'm not the only seller that has expressed this in their video. But the same thing goes there. And eBay changes things up. Sometimes you got to pay to play. And if you want to move products, you may have to promote them. And I do that on various levels from 2% up to 7%. I try not to go over 7%. But anyway, so creating drafts, filling in all your information, going ahead and taking the pictures of your product and uploading it to your listing and saving it in a draft where you create a draft bank to where if you spend, let's just say you're going to dedicate 8 hours one day on a Saturday, let's say, after you go to yard sales, of course, you can list 50 to 100 items and have it all in your draft bank. The next thing that I do is I schedule those listings to go live in my store. Now, used to eBay charged to schedule listings, and they do not charge you anymore. So I can, if I wanted to drop 10 new listings a day, which is what I do, sometimes more, then the night before I'll go in there into my draft bank and I will select one at a time, of course, 10 items, click on schedule listing, pick the date, which is the next calendar date, the next day, set the time you want it to drop. Now keep in mind, when you're setting the time for it to drop, it's Pacific time, so you've got, if you're in the East Coast, you've got hours of differences there, so be mindful of that. So I have it to where I drop 10, I drop one item every 2 hours. Now, if you have a huge draft bank, you could schedule your listings to drop one new listing every hour on the hour for 8 hours during the day, or for 12 hours during the day, or 24 hours during the day. And what that's going to do is that's going to show the algorithm that you are active. Now, I know a lot of folks have a routine, and it's how I used to do it. You wake up every morning, you get your cup of coffee, you try to get coherent to the world, and then you go to your desktop, you sit down, and you pick out your 10 items out of your drafts, and you drop 10 all at the same time. Well, that's good for the 15 or 20 minutes it takes for you to do that. That's active on your account. But when you schedule it, it shows the algorithm that every hour on the hour you're active on your account. Now, all this is hypothesis, but you hear a lot of it on YouTube. But I'm going to tell you, I've had more consistent sales in the last week or two since I have been scheduling my listings to drop one every 2 hours. And so it's just do and repeat, do and repeat. Go out and source your items, do your homework research on your items, create your listing, save it in your draft bank, sit down every night, and you can schedule your listings to go for the entire week. You could be dropping 5 a day that way with scheduled listings, or you could be dropping 10 a day with scheduled listings. And that way you've bought yourself more time where you're not sitting in here listing every day. But it takes discipline to build a draft bank. But once you put that time in and you don't drain your draft bank down to nothing, you're constantly building back up. If 10 go out live, you're the next day in here building up 10 more into your draft bank, and always keep a cushion. So with me, I'm a little over 100 drafts in my draft bank. Once I get down to 50, that's when I take, I don't know, a day or an afternoon and really build that sucker back up to about 100. So that feeds my draft listings into live listings for an entire week generally, depending on how many you drop, of course. If this makes sense, I hope it does. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments if you've got questions about making your draft listings, how to schedule those listings. It's a tremendous help, and I would take advantage of it. eBay the algorithm loves to see activity on accounts, so that might help you there. Okay, so anyway, trying to think what else we could talk about. I'm really tired. It was really hot today. I met up with the Trading Post Pickers, Scott and Christina, and Donald from Mars Bargain Basement. Check out both of those on YouTube. Trading Post Pickers and Mars Bargain Basement. We met out there on the picking trail today, had lunch, had a great time, picked up a lot of great deals on stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a video when I start untubbing all this stuff here, but there is some tremendous items in these tubs that you can find in my store on eBay. And I hear a lot of questions too about, when is it advantageous to start a store? Well, if you hover below 250 items that you're selling or that you have ready to list, I wouldn't recommend a store. If you're getting close to approaching 250 items listed, it is to your advantage to pick up a basic store subscription. There is a cost to that. eBay deducts it every once a month, but it does enable you to receive discounts on all your fees that you're charged every time you sell an item. So there are advantages to that. You can click on YouTube and go through you can click on eBay and go to the site and investigate the different subscription points of which kind of store you'd like to open up. I love it. I'm actually looking to expand my store and move up a tier in my store level, simply because if I listed everything that I had in this building now, I would be over my limit at the current store level that I'm at. Ooh, did you hear that? Just sold something. Ashtray. A cigar ashtray. $19.91. Sweet! Anyway, it's a fun business. There are downsides. There's days you just don't feel like doing anything. Then there's the fact that you're dealing with returns, and that means you're dealing with, sometimes, not all the time, unreasonable buyers who return stuff for crazy reasons sometimes. But I do accept returns, of course. That's another thing. If you want to gain traction in this business, you need to accept returns. It's just part of the business. How big would Walmart have gotten if they did not ever take returns? Keep that in mind. I know it's a headache. You receive that money, you're excited, then somebody starts a return, and then you got to turn around and pay it right back out. But here's the truth. If you're busy always uploading new merchandise into your store or onto your personal account, it balances out. You've got money coming in, and occasionally you'll have money going out as far as a return goes. You always have money going out because your shipping charges when you're buying labels rolls out of there if you're using the eBay shipping system. You can go off eBay to purchase your labels, like Pirate Ship or whatever. I do that occasionally. But anyway, I feel like I'm just rambling, but I'm kind of wore out. But anyway, so yeah, the biggest enemy is going to be yourself. You determine, believe it or not, how much money you want to make in this business. You know, if you're sitting there with 50 items in your personal account on eBay and you're happy with that, then that's fantastic. You know, you control how much you make. Well, how can that be? Because you're depending on other people to buy things. And sometimes there's days that you don't have sales. You don't have control over that. Here's what you got control over. Most people, when you go, if you ever gone fishing, what do? You take a fishing pole and you cast a line out, right? And you sit and you wait to get a bite. Here's the deal. This is only my opinion. The more you list, the more opportunities you have to make sales. Obviously, if you look at a account that has 200 items in it versus another account that has over 2,000 items in it, 200 here, 2,000 here. Depending on what the item is too, of course, it's got to be desirable or nothing's going to sell. But in most cases, the one that has 2,000 items is going to be making more sales than the one with just 200 in it. But that's a caveat to what type of items you're listing. So a lot of stuff is working hand in hand in this business. But bottom line, when you go fishing, the more rods and more lines you have thrown into the water, the more opportunity and the better the chance you have of catching a fish. Same thing with capturing sales. So anyway, I don't know if any of that resonates with any of you. If you're brand new to reselling, I hope this gives you a little tip and insight. If you're looking to get into this business, I hope you're learning something as well. Just know it's not always a big bowl full of cherries. Now I know a lot of shows on YouTube show all the positives to this business, but there are negatives with anything in life. No matter what you do for a living, there's positives and there's negatives, and it's up to you to decide that if the positives outweigh the negative ones. For me, the positive does outweigh it. So anyway, I want to thank you all again for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And hey, let me know down in the comments. I'm going to be out in Crossville in the old school Pickers backyard. That would be my friend Chris. We're meeting up with him. We're having a big Resellers meet and greet Friday night, the first Friday night in August. But we're going to be in town for that first week of August for the 127 sale. If you're coming to that, comment down below and let me know you're going to be there, because if you watch this channel, I would love to see you and meet you and shake your hand if you're coming to the 127 sale. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe renting a U-Haul to haul everything back. I'm hoping. So yeah, just drop a comment down below if you're going to be coming to the 127 sale. And if you want to learn more about the reseller meet and greet, where we're going to meet and hang out and talk and eat together, you can go to the Old School Pickers YouTube channel. He's got a link down below where you can buy tickets to that event. It's only $25 per person, and that helps cover the cost of the venue, which is the old train station in downtown Crossville, and it helps cover the cost of the meals that are being served. Love to see you there. Let me know if you're coming down there, and maybe we can meet up, do a little picking together. And other than that, I've got to go get me something to eat because I'm starving. But I want to thank you, and I cannot wait to see you right back here on good old Rocky Top.